All right. Good early morning, peoples, before the market. Let's get going with YIELDMAX Group C. And we continue with four weeklies now as Gaputi kicks in with its first payment. So let's go through the classics here. So as a reminder, declare on February 5th for Group C, ex-dividends tomorrow. If you don't own something or you want to buy more, make sure you buy it on 2/5, right? On Wednesday the 5th, before the 6th. All right, payday is Friday the 7th. All right, in yellow, I'll keep my cursor away, is your payment. So let's go to Cony. Very, very nice payment, $1.04. And the reason I say that is look at the price closes of yesterday, 1337. Now, what I do here is a reminder, rather than I keep those prices, but I don't keep them here in the visuals. So did it go up or did it go down? And so on the weekly, guys, I track that in terms of YMAX, YMAG, Lethargy, and Gaputi. Did it go up or did it go down on a weekly basis? All the others are simply monthlies, right? So nice 93.40 fiat at a $7.93, but it is pretty fascinating that AB Netflix is the only one, and you can't count these the weeklies. Although there's a trend in YMAX and YMAG, I don't think they've gone up in months. I mean, every time I report on them, they're going down on a weekly basis. So Caputi, now that it had three weekly pays, it went up slightly on this. It's still down overall, but I mean, very small. I know everybody was saying, "Oh, Lethargy, I got in it and I'm up this and I'm up." It's paid nice. Got a 65% yield on this payment, 62.80. It had 62.94. That now these fall under these monthly columns, so I'm just going to leave it that way. But know that they're weekly payers. What I normally do is I make these a different color to remind myself what's going on. Come on, Bruce. Um, with these guys. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. I want to do it in the field. Okay. So they're different. So ignore that these payments weren't back here in November, December, and January. This one happened to be in January, but otherwise you're separating and creating difference. Ultimately, I may do that if this gets big, which based on YIELDMAX adding a lot, it probably will. All right, so look here, find your favorite in yellow. I'm not going to read you every single one of them. 18 cents for both YMAX and YMAG. So 57.52. The problem, and again, I picked a point in time and I've been running with it. I'll change it at some point. Started out doing a 6 month and I only had about 5 months worth of data. The reason is because I wanted to show it slightly different with YMAX and YMAG going to the weekly. But you can track this over any time, and just like Lethargy and Gaputi, here we are in Gaputi. Its price at launch, it's not 7.2, right? Because these are brand new funds. One's January 13 and one's January 23. You can see it up here, right? And so now Gaputi's making its first payment, all right, and the third payment for Lethargy. Um, all right, guys, so that's the payment on what we have. Let's take a look at what else I wanted to go over for you guys. So I'll read them out real fast. Fiat 54, Microsoft 36, AMD, right, 38, Netflix 107, and the price is up. Now, these are all monthly changes, right? So if it's green, it's up from the previous month. Look at this. Everything just about is down on the monthly except for Netflix. Way to go, Netflix. 66% distribution. And look what you have over here. When you don't lose okay, here is its price on 7/2. So when you don't go down, you go up, right? Over this period of time. Back in July, this was 1768, we had September distributions, 51, 79, 78, 86, 58, and we jumped to $1.07. So outstanding, and that's why you have a total return 7 months, like 6 payments worth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So you're talking double that. So if you're in Netflix and you want an annualized, the way it's been operating the last 6, 7 months, that's a 70% total return. You have a gain here. Look at this. This is Ulti, or sorry, this is PP, PayPal. All right, that turned red. So that's one of my complaints is, I love YIELDMAX in some ways, but I got pretty upset with their heavy, heavy nav. Again, if you're giving me 100% yield and you've got a 30% return, I get it, right? 100 minus 30 is 70 last time I did math. So if I can get a 70% total return, I'm okay. But when I limp along and my total return is negative, now it can happen at any point in time. You can have a bad period of time. I mean, Microsoft minus 10. But when your yield isn't that high, right? So your NAV is 21.99 and your yield, so you're hurting there. And so when I see this, I love it. Right now, Ulti is stabilized, so it doesn't have a big, it. This field you can kind of ignore. That this is an old yield field that I just need to clean this up and figure out what I want to do here. I had it for different reasons. But as you see here, this does represent their gain or loss. So this is a small, let's see what Ulti, yeah, Ulti's got a 36. I mean, it's declined. It's just that it's stabilizing, right? Because it was 1364 on 7/2. It's been in the eights and nines here. It's stabilized in eight. And it's traded in that 8 to 10 range for a while. So but if you bought back here, I know there's a lot of people, and I do it as well. If you see something and you think like I like Cony down here, even if I don't think BTC is going to go up now or not, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it reaches a point where it's in the 12s and 13s, 14s, and it's paying $1. That's a huge yield, right? So if you're bullish longer term and say, hey, I'm okay, then that's positive, right? Even though my data shows, you know, a slight, like a break even over this 7/2 period. Okay. And you see it because the NAV going down and your yield, right? But that could get positive. Now that it's stabilized, if I go on a year basis, then my yield's going to be 70, and this is probably going to stick at a lower number and help me out. So you got to look at trends. You got to look at this data really careful and understand it. All right, let's do one or two more. So on these, and that's what I've been saying on YMAX and YMAG, they're not what they were. I mean, I would tell people before, if you want conservative, go buy YMAX. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like there's better solutions out there for you. I'm tracking, based on where they were, not very much. Look at this. I got a 15 and a 12% annualized drop, and then my dividends aren't that high. I mean, there was a period where YMAX was yielding 40%. Uh, and again, I've always said you cannot expect the markets to give you that. That's why guys like Warren Buffett and stuff, if they look at a, 20, 30-year period and they got 15% return annualized, do you know how long? Remember the rule of 72 if you don't know it. If you want to take an interest rate, take what's some multiples of 72, right? There's a lot. Let's take, if you got a 36% return and you did that year after year, every 2 years, you're doubling your money because you're reinvesting what you're making. You think of it as in a bank account in the simple interest formula. So there's a lot of multiples of that, right? 8 times 9. So if you're getting 9%, it's going to take you 8 years. If you average 9% over 8 years with a rule of 72, you're going to double your investment. So don't think these outsized returns are going to hold up. I mean, I did the same thing in Misty. I was telling everyone, oh my gosh, I bought in at high 20s and some shares at low 21. And the next thing I knew, this it was at 40, and I've been getting these $3 and $4 payments, and I was like, man, oh man, it was like 170% annualized return. And then, you know, at one point it went back to 20, right, in Misty, and then went back into the 40s, and I think it's in the mid to high 20s now. I haven't checked the price just recently. Um, but that's what you can expect up in those realms when you're getting exceedingly high dividend returns. I get guys ask me all the time, Bruce, can YIELDMAX continue this for 10 or 15 years? Absolutely, they can continue it, and they will if their assets under management stay high. That's how they make money. But the reality is, what is the market going to give you? They can't perform magic beyond what the market can give them, right? They're just using an option strategy on top of it. And I've said to you, high flyers like PLTR, Palantir, and guys, I've told you how many times that Palantir is the best stock almost out there of any stock, especially in a big name and in the tech sector. Way better than NVIDIA. Because why? It's software. It does a lot more. You need the hardware, but the hardware can get eroded much quicker with margins and people can move in. And then Nvidia seems to be hanging in there, but look at where it's been and look at where it is. Look at where Palantir is and look at where it's going. I'm talking a Microsoft type market cap, right? Same as what Nvidia's got. And when I was saying that, it was maybe 400, million, 600 million, to get to 3 trillion. And it's bearing out. I mean, I own a little bit of PLTY in my 401k, but I much better play a 2x and play the stock because those outside returns are way better. But I get it. You need in my I have to take RMD distributions because of my age in my 401k. So I bought a little bit in my 401k back prior to this rise. So it's just fantastic, right? Because I have to turn around next year and then take the money that, not all of it, it's a percentage. You do the calculation when you reach an age and you have to take RMDs. Okay, guys, I won't belabor this. Um, but a lot of good stuff, a lot of data. If you need help interpreting, that's what questions for. Hit me up. I've been doing this for 45 years investing, so I think I know a little bit, and probably 40 years with options. So hit me up if there's some nuances or things you don't understand, or I can help you think. I can't really help you always decide because that's up to you, but I can tell you things that maybe you hadn't looked at. All right, guys, Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. That's it for Group C here. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. It's for fun and entertainment. Have a good one, guys. Bye for now.